Welcome. In this session, we would focus on non-conventional energy sources. Now, non-conventional are also called as alternate energy sources. Now, why they are called as alternate? They are called as alternate because they have been developed in the recent past. Now, another important thing that we need to understand about is some of the important non-conventional resources before we go into the key benefits or the key specialties of the non-conventional energy resources. So some of the non-conventional resources that we would understand today include solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, nuclear energy, biogas energy as some of these, right? Now, these are non-conventional because they are alternate. Why are they so important and so different? Firstly, most of the sources that we see for non-conventional are inexhaustible. That means they would be available throughout. For example, sun, tides, wind. Then we have the energy from within the earth, which gives the geothermal energy, the biogas, nuclear resources. So they are relatively considered as inexhaustible. Now, nuclear, you might ask, how is it inexhaustible? Uranium, thorium, plutonium deposits are in limited amount. So in nuclear, we have two important reactions, fission and fusion. Fission is where we break the bigger elements into smaller forms. So uranium, plutonium, thorium are some of those. And then there is another which is called as fusion, where two hydrogen combine to form a helium, and in that process energy is released. So far, the nuclear power plants that we focus on are developed on fission technology. Fusion technology is in development. Lawrence Livermore Laboratory in United States, California has been working on numerous projects related to fusion energy where positive energy can be generated. That means the amount of energy that you are giving as an input would be lesser than the output which is generated. So we say it's a positive output that can be seen. But we consider nuclear as inexhaustible, the simple reason being one element of nuclear or radioactive material like plutonium, thorium would be required, which is equivalent to many times requirement of any other fossil fuel, for example carbon. So we'll understand that as we proceed on the section on nuclear. But the key idea is, since the amount required is very small to get huge amount of energy, it's technically considered as inexhaustible. The next important one is it's relatively less expensive, non-polluting, easy to maintain. So once the initial cost for, let's say, solar panels to be installed could be high, but the overall maintenance is very minimum. Specifically for tropical countries, solar energy is a boon. International Solar Alliance has been developed for the countries on the tropical region, on the tropical belt, an initiative by India and France, and numerous countries have benefited from this. Also, these non-conventional sources of energy can be tapped in larger amounts, and in India, it is the Ministry of Non-Renewable Energy Resources, MNES, which is working to provide subsidies, incentives, technological support, R&D support to grow and develop the non-conventional source of energy. So as discussed, in this section, our focus would be to cover 6 major non-conventional energy resources. The first would be solar energy, that is derived from sun. Wind energy, as the name suggests, from wind, so mainly seen in the coastal areas. Geothermal energy from within the earth. Manikaran in Himachal is one such example. Puga Valley in Ladakh. Then you have Tatapani in Chhattisgarh. So we'll talk about it more as we delve into each of those. Tidal energy, it is because of the tidal range, the difference between the high tide and the low tide, and how when the high tide enters, the turbine moves, and when it recedes, it actually this process of entering and receding is where the turbine moves and energy is generated. Now again, this energy is highly reliable because tides come because of the gravitational attraction, and as a result it's a regular phenomena and therefore very predictable, we can say. Then nuclear energy, we'll talk about more on this, and then finally biogas. So let's first understand the very first energy resource, which is solar energy. Under solar energy, we classify utilizing the solar energy into three heads: solar cells, solar cooker, and solar water heaters. So solar cells are nothing but these are photovoltaic cells which are mainly made of silicon and germanium. Now these solar cells are actually fabricated and arranged in arrays. Now once they are arranged in arrays, what would happen is these could be utilized for various purpose. Some of the major places where we can see solar cell, common is a calculator. You would see a small solar panel. Even solar toys are seen nowadays. Traffic lights utilize solar cells. Road lights. Then we have water pumping systems, irrigation pumps, heating mechanisms, electronic watches also have solar cells. So solar cells can be seen at numerous places. But this